Welcome to C-Suite at the Open. I'm Burke Suman, Head of Company Services based in Calgary. Joining us today is Theo Zunich, President and CEO at Calgary-based cannabis retailer YSS. Theo, welcome.
Hi, Burke. Thanks for having me.
Pleasure. Can you start by telling our audience about YSS?
YSS is a Canadian cannabis retailer currently operating 17 stores in Alberta and Saskatchewan. What differentiates us a little bit is we truly are a retail first, cannabis second company, driven by operational efficiencies and the fundamental belief of always putting the customer first.
Through your investor material, you talk about kind of two key regions being Alberta and Ontario. Can you speak a bit to the market potential that you see in these two key regions?
Yeah, in Canada, we are largely dictated on which markets we can enter based on the provincial regulations. About half the provinces of Canada are open for private. Alberta and Ontario are our focus at this moment. Alberta is a open market at the time. What that means is when we make the decision to invest in a store, we have a clear line of sight on construction, licensing, opening timelines. But by virtue of that, there is more competition in Alberta. So it's a lower risk, but lower reward, risk reward profile. Ontario is an opportunity to balance that. Ontario is a new market in terms of opening up. But there are some uncertainties around timeline to license and open if you invest that capital. So it's a higher risk profile in terms of timeline to payback, but also offers a little bit higher return due to market size and lack of competition at this time.
Right. So for general investors that want to invest in the cannabis market, why should they be looking at retailers?
First of all, I think the cannabis market is still a very attractive market to invest in. I think it's important to realize we are very early in the life cycle of this industry. When I look to Colorado, it took 6 years for them to reach a $1.4 billion recreational market. Alberta, in comparison, with only about 30% less population, did 200 million last year and is on pace to do 400 this year. So we really see multi-year growth ahead of us in the cannabis industry. Retail is a great proposition if you are looking at the cannabis industry, because it allows you to invest in a diversified portfolio across a geographic area. Each store is a lower capital intensive investment. So it's a little bit statistically less risky. As well, a lot of the technical know-how, and I mean, growing cannabis at scale and packaging isn't simple. That happens all upstream to us. So it's also low risk in the sense that we just buy a product that's already finished based on consumer demands. We add our margin, and that drives our revenue and our profitability. So a little bit lower risk part of the cannabis industry.
Right, makes sense. In response to this current COVID-19 environment, I know you recently announced a new convenient and safe way for your customers to shop. Can you tell us about this and how you've adapted to the new environment?
Yeah, we reacted very quickly to the COVID pandemic, implementing safety protocols, social distancing in store, and ultimately we were allowed to stay open through the entire situation in both Alberta and Saskatchewan. We had started working on our click and collect profile probably, I'd say early February, and we really just accelerated that with the COVID-19 situation, and we launched that in mid-April. It's been incredibly successful. So what that allows customers to do is really browse our store level inventory, make purchases, come in store, pick up your bag, pay for it, and walk out. And we're currently offering a 10% discount on anybody using our click collect service, just in order to try to keep that traffic in store as low as possible as we still continue to deal with this pandemic.
Finally, Theo, can you summarize your investment proposition? Why YSS?
I think I touched a little bit on why the cannabis industry is a high growth industry to invest in, why retail we think is a lower risk part of that industry as an investment opportunity. YSS, we offer a clean balance sheet. We have cash in the bank. We're an established operator with a proven team that's demonstrated a track record of financial discipline. So we allow the investor to capture some of that growth, as well as we will be accelerating our own growth through the construction of a few more stores this year and continue that growth into 2021. And then finally, it's an attractive valuation point, entry point. We've been beat up with the cannabis market as well as a little bit of this COVID trade, and I think it's a good purchase price now.
Awesome. Theo, thank you very much for being here with us. All the best to you and the YSS team, and I look forward to seeing your continued growth.
Thank you for having me.